Hey there, welcome back to Manotick StringWorks. Glad to have you here. So please remember to like and subscribe for more video content. Well, here's what's on the workbench today: an Ibanez RG1570 Prestige Team J-Craft in cosmic blue. It's pretty cool sparkles. This guitar, it's a 2007 model, so it's in for a few upgrades or modifications. I'll show you those. So the owner has provided these new humbuckers. They're Seymour Duncan Black Winter humbuckers. So wants to change out the existing Ibanez V7, V8 humbuckers for these. So we'll see what happens there. Also up here at the headstock, the owner would like to change out these Hipshot tuners, these locking tuners, which are very nice already, for these Hipshot tuners. Hipshot Grip Lock 6. They come with a mounting plate, but the owner doesn't want to use that. You'll see a mounting plate on these. And here's what these tuners look like. They're very nice. They're open gear tuners. They look really good. They're locking too. So I put those in, but we already have a couple of exposed holes here. And you'll notice that this hole goes this way, so we'll have to see what's underneath the plate. But I think I'll start there. Let's look at the tuners. So I'm just going to loosen up the first string. And I'll use that one to test to see if the new, I'm just loosening up there. Get that string out of there. These are very nice tuners on their own, so screw that back on so we don't lose that. Now a plate was used, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to test fit the new tuners. Sorry, let me get that in the shot. Here we go, that's better. I'm not going to be able to test fit the new tuners till at least that plate is removed, but let's see if the hole is right. I don't know, that looks pretty big. Stay tuned. No pun intended. Unlock these. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. So that plate, see this? There's a wing right there, there's another one here. So when you put the tuner in, it prevents the tuner from wiggling back and forth, right? And you can see the little wing at each one on both sides. So that gives the tuner a lot more lateral stability. Now that's because with the plates you don't use the screw hole that's there. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to take off these 3 tuners, because the plate's divided into 2 3-tuner sections, and then I'll try putting in the new tuner in the hole and see how stable it feels. Alright, so when I take the tuners off, you'll see the plate. You can see those nice little wings there. Again, that prevents it from moving, the tuner from moving laterally, because you're not screwing it in right through the screw hole. Just tape those strings out of the way. There's a piece of tape under the string, and then I taped over it. Let's put one of these in here. And that's a lot of slop. Bring it a little closer here. Black on black there, sorry, but hard to see. Even if I tighten that down, here, let me hold it and tighten it. Yeah, it should be good enough. Then I'll come out here. So you can see we've got an existing screw hole which would have been for the original tuners. So now we're going to have to drill a new hole once we line them all up. Right there. Yeah, I think with the screw that's going to be good. Okay, let's carry on. So along with the 10mm wrench, you can use a 10mm socket. I also have this cool little circular ratchet, which works out pretty nice. You get just enough pressure with it to set it up nicely and easily. Alright, 2 more to go. Alright, so we've got all the tuners and I just snugged them in temporarily. Now we'll look at them from the back side. And I can see a couple are not quite square, just eyeballing them. I can just loosen them a little bit so I can manipulate them. So I've loosened them up a little bit. I'm just using a nice straight stick of wood here. I'll just come along the bottom. Make sure they're all... Oop, it's a little too loose, that one. Make sure they're all nice and straight, up and down. That looks good. So I'll tighten them down a little bit, and I'll be able to mark the holes for drilling. Now, using my little round ratchet, see how it's a little loose, but as I tighten it, it wants to go this way, but then it's going to be stopped by the stick. And I've tightened the 1st and 6th strings as my references. So now I can just come in underneath, get that over a bit, there we go. give that a little tighten, make sure these are square as well. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the alignment, I'm going to use a transfer punch. So this is a little set that comes with all kinds of different diameters. This is the smallest one here, 3/32. So you see it has one pointy end, one flat end. I like to use the flat end to see how well it fits in the hole. That's pretty good. Go to 7/64. Doesn't really go in. So we're going to use the 3/32. So using the pointy end, put in the center of the hole. Make sure it's lined up in the middle there. I'm just going to give it a little tap, a few taps. That makes a nice little hole. Just a little indent. And once you've made the hole, afterwards I can make that hole a little bigger, that indent a little bigger I should say, before going on to drilling it out. I'll just check and make sure nothing's moved. No, they're still good. When their holes are, you know, the indents are that small, a little hard to see sometimes, so go over it a few times. Pretty musical. Alright, so next step is I'll take out, I like to either go one by one or I'll do the first and sixth strings again so I have my reference, and then do the fill in the other ones. So let's do the first one. So I'm just going to find that mark with an awl, something with a bigger tip on it. Just make it a little more visible. There we go. So I took the second string tuner off as well, just so I can get a drill in there easily. I'll have to do that as we go along. So I'm going to use a 1/16 drill bit. Here are the existing holes that were for the first tuners, original tuners. And here are the new screws. I mean, they're the same screws basically, little tiny screws. So one of the things you can do, of course, is you don't want to make the hole too wide, otherwise the screw won't bite. But I'm going to go into that old hole. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. It's already like just, I can't really turn it by finger pressure, so I think a 1/16 hole will work out well. I can always make it a little bigger if I find it's too tight. Alright, so let me drill that out. Now this has a satin finish, it's not a thick glossy finish, so I'm not worried about the finish cracking too much, but I like to go backwards first. Again, just trying to stay perpendicular to the headstock, just to sort of break away any finish that might be there. And then we'll drill in. Now we don't want to drill in much more than, you know, maybe a 1/4 inch maximum. So again, perpendicular up and down to the headstock, side to side. Alright, so I stepped up the drill bit to a 5/64. Found the 1/16 was a little too tight for the screw, and it's hardwood, so I don't want it to crack or split. Alright, line it up just by hand here. Okay, I'm going to leave that a little loose, and then I'll line up the 1st and 6th string. Now it is a good idea when using small little screws like this that you can strip the heads out pretty easily, especially in hardwood like maple. So if you put a little bit of wax on the threads, push it in the hole a little bit. That'll help the threads get into the wood. Less friction, of course. And a good idea, again, is to start the hole without the tuner there. There we go. That was much better. Now we've got the hole is threaded and lubed with some of that wax, which is nice. Okay, let's put the 6th string on, 6th string tuner. Okay, so I've got the tuner lined up, snug down a little bit. Goes nice and easy. So let's check here. Yeah, now the alignment, they're aligned to each other. So I'm going to tighten up the 1st and 6th tuners. And that way the other ones will line up to them as references. Alright, so I've got the last one in, and just checking the alignment again. Everything looks good. Nice. And from the front, perfect. Good. All right. So I'll snug these down a little bit with the wrench. Not a ton, because everything's nice and snug. And I'd recommend that the owner snug these down themselves. You know, a couple of weeks from now, just check them again. Alright. So just a side-by-side comparison. So you can see the tuning key shape is different on the new ones versus the ones that were on there already. Not the original ones. These are the ones that were on there already. And of course, we have that nice, excuse me, that nice open gearing at the back. So you get to see the brass gear versus the closed gearing. Alright. Well, that's going to be the end of part 1. So first step complete. tuning machines changed, and then we'll move on to the pickups in part 2. Thanks for watching.